Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, guys. Sergeant Moose here, back with another The Texas Chainsaw Massacre video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to continue our series on how to play Family for Beginners. So in our previous video, guys, we showed you how to do Leatherface, how to get his rev up, how to keep his rev up, and how to play him effectively, if you guys want to check that video out. Today, guys, we're going to be focused on the Hitchhiker, who is one of my favorite family members in the game, and certainly one of the best family members in the game. So the Hitchhiker, of course, he relies on his traps. That is his ability. We're not going to do like a build video or anything like that today, but we're just going to learn the basics of Hitchhiker, guys, and I'm going to show you how I approach each map with him to ensure victory. So he is the most versatile family member in the game. Obviously good for trapping, he's good for chasing, he's good for blood feeding as well. You can get a lot done with this guy. Now, a lot of people play him differently, but I'm going to show you my best way to effectively play him on each map and ensure the win and help my family get wins. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into it. Alright, guys, so we're going to kick things off with Family House, man. We're here on Family House, guys. Now, just as a disclaimer before we start, now, I'm doing this particular tutorial here assuming that we have a cook with us on the Family House, guys. By the way, the cook should always be on the Family House ahead of any other character, no matter what, aside from the Hitchhiker. The cook should be here, but we're assuming the cook is playing with us right now, and we'll get into other scenarios if he's not. So, first thing we want to do with Hitchhiker, guys, when we come in, there are 5 total escapes in the house to get to the outside yard. One thing you don't want to do with family, you don't want to let victims get out here. If they get outside, they're going to cause a lot of trouble. They're going to be able to get the generator, battery. We want to be able to kill them all inside the house. We don't want them to get out. So first thing we're going to do, we have the popular window here, of course, the Sally jump window that you see from the film. We're going to go ahead and we're going to walk up right up to this window, guys, with Hitchhiker. We're going to look for a little patch of dirt. As you guys can see right in front of me, you see a little circle of dirt right here. Very important, guys. We're going to go ahead and set a trap right on that circle of dirt. Now, very important, guys, you find that circle because we want to get a trap outside this window. That way, if someone jumps out that window, we have the information. They'll step in the trap. They'll take extra damage. Of course, I'm running the Venom Hitchhiker build, so they're going to take a ton of damage when they jump out that window, possibly even bleed out and die. So that is a way to contain them. If they don't bleed out when they jump out that window, guys, and hit this trap, by the time they get themselves out of this trap, you'll probably be outside with Hitchhiker, or you'll have Leatherface out here chasing, or whoever it may be on your team. They're going to probably be hurt badly enough to where they're going to have to go straight to this well and jump down this well if you're chasing them. Now, if you don't have somebody out here abruptly and quickly, they may make it all the way to the back where they can then heal or make it up front and go hide. So, as soon as someone jumps out this window, even if they get trapped, you want to make sure you have somebody ready to come out and chase them and either kill them or have them hit that well. So, that's trap number 1, guys. By the way, no matter the situation, scenario, it doesn't matter if you have cook, it doesn't matter if you have hands, you know, Sissy, Johnny, it does not matter. You always want to have this trap on the window. Always first thing you should do as Hitchhiker when you spawn into the family house. Now, after we spawn in and set that trap, we're going to run inside. And I just want to talk about something real quick too, guys. I see a lot of folks putting the trap on the inside of this window instead of the outside of the window. Now, this trap can be very effective if they step in it, but one of the reasons why I like to go with the outside trap as opposed to this one is because the victims have the opportunity to sneak in here and disable this trap and then jump the window. If you have it outside, there is no possible way of disabling that trap unless they get out a different way and they go out of their way to disable it. So, when we come into the house, guys, as Hitch, we're going to set our second trap right here on the central staircase going up. Now, again, guys, just to reiterate, we are assuming we have a cook on this map. Now, we got that trap set. We're going to come on over here into the den, as you can see, and this is our second staircase leading upstairs. Now, what I like to do is I like to come upstairs. If this door is not latched, I like to go ahead and latch this door, and I'll talk about that shortly. We're going to put our third and final trap at the top of this stairs. Now, we have all 3 traps set with Hitchhiker, and basically what we've done, guys, is we've disabled the victims from being able to get upstairs, And also, if they jump the window, we're going to have information as well. Now, you can also set your trap here at the bottom of the stairs as opposed to being up here at the top. But I like to set mine at the top because a lot of victims, they'll come looking for a trap here. And sometimes if no one's in the den, they can hurry up and disable that trap really quickly and then go up the stairs. If I have it at the top of the stairs, a lot of times I'll be chasing victims through this den, and they'll come over here and look, and they'll see there's no trap, and they'll think, oh, okay, the upstairs is free. And then they go up, and they hit the trap. And if they don't hit the trap and come back down, I'll already be on them. So that's why I think the upstairs trap there is way better than having it here at the bottom. Now, guys, now, if we are playing without a cook, if there's no cook on this map, this means that this back door will not be getting padlocked, which means the victims can run right up, open it right up, and then they can freely go back to the back gate. And if there's no family around, we'll never know that. So, if we don't have a cook, it gets a little more risky. Like I said, you should just have a cook on this map. It makes things so much easier. But if you don't, it's okay. You can still do okay. I will instead not put one of these traps on the staircases, and then I'll come back as Hitchhiker, and basically this is a replacement for a cook lock on the back door. I'll go ahead and put a trap on the back door. So we'll set the trap here. Now, because we did that though, now they have a free way of getting upstairs. So then what I like to do is I like to check where the fuse box is. Okay, the fuse box is there. So typically what I like to do is, because you have this door latched in here, and this is not always guaranteed, because you have that door latched, you have one of two options. If you have a hands in the match with you, it would be better because he can trap the fuse box himself, which means that I could go ahead and I could put my trap here on this staircase and hope that they hit this one. But there's a good chance that they could get to the den and go up that way, so we don't have two traps. So the safest bet you could probably do is come up with the Hitchhiker and put the trap directly on the fuse box. Now you might be asking yourself, okay, but if nobody's upstairs and I have a trap directly on the fuse box, a victim can come up and just notice that trap's there, get a bone scrap, and disable it. So this is why family vision is very, very important, guys. And with Hitchhiker, it's probably more important than most other family members. You always want to be hitting the up button or whatever the button is on your controller or keyboard for family vision to make sure you're checking your traps. As you guys can see, I'm using it. I can see my fuse box trap set, back door trap, window traps, all still good. Now, you want to conserve this family vision as much as possible. You want to just quickly hit it, check your traps real quick, and then turn it off. That way it doesn't have to cool down as long. And then what happens is, if you use the family vision and you're looking at one of your traps, I'll wait for it to recharge here, but if you're looking at one of your traps and it's broke, that's when you know a victim is up there or around the vicinity of where that trap's broken. So say I'm downstairs and I'm, getting some blood and stuff, I'm gonna pop my family vision, check the traps again. Okay, now, let's pretend like that one up at fuse box is broken on my family vision. So that's gonna prompt me or somebody else that's nearby to hurry up and get their butts up to the fuse box to see what's going on. So not only are Hitchhiker's traps good for trapping people, guys, but they're also good for information to find out where the victims are. So again, if you see one of those traps broken, you want to quickly have somebody or yourself get to the location of that trap because that victim is nearby. Now, say we're playing, whether we have cook or anybody, and, they pop one of the doors under our radar. They get one of the side doors up, and we see, oh, crap, the sitting door has been popped. We run outside. Now, that door is permanently opened. What should we do? Well, we have Hitchhiker. And again, going back to being one of the most versatile family members in the game, what I would do in this situation is maybe take the trap off the window that hasn't been broken yet, and then I'll come over here. And this is also making sure, guys, that you have already gotten the victim that got outside, like down the well or something. I would come over here, and I would set a trap on this door. Now, the victim is going to think themselves or tell their other victim friends, I got the sitting room door popped. Make sure you go out that door, And then someone's going to come up, and, they're going to be like, okay, the sitting room door's popped. Let's go ahead out, and boom, they're going to step in the trap. So, like I said, it's all a game of chance with Hitchhiker, guys. These traps aren't always going to work, but I can assure you, if you're playing with the comp, Cook and Hitchhiker on Family House, and you set a trap here on this staircase, the staircase over at the top of the den, and then also this the trap on the outside of the window, this is easily going to ensure you the most success in this game. So, with that, guys, that is pretty much how you play Hitchhiker on Family House. And, of course, as you're awaiting victims and this and that, you can go ahead and pick up your blood, and start getting Grandpa fed and all that good stuff. So that is Hitchhiker on Family House, guys. Let's move on to the next map. All right, guys, here we go with Slaughterhouse, man. Now this one you can get a little crafty with Hitchhiker sometimes, guys, and we'll talk about why. Of course, we just went through all the versatility, moving traps around, family vision and stuff like that on Family House, on the Family House tutorial. So we're just going to go through this one and talk about trap placement throughout the rest of these maps. Okay, guys, so we're coming out of Slaughterhouse. We're making it all the way out of facility. You could go ahead and collect all the blood in here, too. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll end up with a full vial before you make it out. So make sure you go ahead and check around for all that blood. And I'm glad we got the RNG we wanted here on this tutorial, guys. Okay, so first things first. Again, guys, this is all based on who you have on the family. So if we have a cook, again, and this is why the cook's so important, guys, because we're talking about the cook every game. And I hear a lot of people saying he's not S tier. Get out of here with that. Anyway, so we're talking about the cook. Let's say the cook wants to go ahead and padlock this facility or whatever he's doing. So we have the fuse box here. Generally, a lot of people like to take their traps and they put them directly on the fuse box. That's okay. You can do that. But if you have a cook and you're communicating with him, you need to tell your cook, do not padlock this door. Instead, as Hitchhiker, you're going to put a trap right here on this gap. Get it set right on this gap here. And we'll explain it. We'll explain it here in a second, guys. So let me cook. Let me cook. Get your trap put there. And then you're instead going to have that cook padlock this gate instead of this door. Now, what happens is the only way the victims can get to that door or this fuse box, either one of these, the only way they would be able to get through that is to either open this gate, unlock this padlock off of this gate that the cook would place, which he'll get information for and see his padlock's gone, or they have to come around and go through this crack, which I have a trap set, and of course we'll have the information for that. That would be the only way they would be able to get to this fuse box or that facility door. So, if you guys get this spawn on the fuse box in Slaughterhouse, this is the god spawn for a Hitchhiker and Cook comp. But that's not always going to happen. You're not always going to get that spawn. So, with that said, either way, guys, with Hitchhiker, I still like to have this trap always here, no matter what, with him. So, this is a high traffic crack right here. So there's a good chance victims are coming through this crack, even if the fuse box isn't there. So I still like to put that trap there. Now we got 2 more traps. What do we do? So, considering the fuse box is not there, there's a few more spawn locations for it. It could spawn right here on tool storage, or it can spawn over here by the pressure gate. So wherever the fuse box would be, that's where I would put the second trap. I would just put it directly on the fuse box. And again, there's a good chance the victims will see it and disable it on the fuse box, guys, but with our family vision, we have information to see that that trap has been broken. Now, this is where you can try to get crafty with your last remaining Hitchhiker trap. So depending on your comp, if you don't have a cook with you, you might want to go ahead with your Hitchhiker, and you might want to take your trap and put it on this sliding door. This is the most popular door in the Slaughterhouse, right here. You might want to go ahead and put a trap down right here, which would be fine. Again, they'll see it and disable it most likely, but you'll have that information that somebody's attacking the sliding door. You can also, if you have a Nanny in your match, you can also take and put it on the pressure tank. That way, he's not tampering the pressure tank, and you have information if the pressure tank gets messed with. There's all kinds of areas, guys. I like to take the trap here and put it right here in Cattle Chute, because as you can see, we got high grass right here. You know, a victim might come up this basement staircase. They might want to go for the sliding door. They might be crouching through the grass. And look, it is very difficult to see. It is almost, you cannot see that trap. So either they're going to have to expect it to be there, or they're just going to step right in it right here. I think that is a fantastic spot. I've caught a lot of victims on that trap. Also, if you don't want to put that trap there, you can come over here. This is another spot I like to put too. Right here, another high traffic area, running straight through this area, in and out of tool storage. Maybe they want to go stab Grandpa. You know, different things like that. You can get really crafty with Hitchhiker on the Slaughterhouse. That's why I like to play him on this map. So you can put it here. You can also, you know, if you think, you know, a lot of people like to loop around in this blue container over here. So you could set a trap. I don't have any right now, but you could set a trap on this crack right here if you'd like, you know, to try to stop them from looping you around this blue container. Again, with Hitchhiker, guys, it's about, you know, picking up and moving your traps around where they're needed. A bunch of different spots on Slaughterhouse, and you guys could even, you know, try experimenting with cool spots yourself. You might catch a good one. I'll also show you another really, really good spot. I don't do it so much anymore just because the victims are moving so fast now that I usually don't have time to make it all the way out from facility, all the way over here to the crack. But if you have time, if they're taking their time in the basement, another good spot is right here in the back crack of the holding pen. I don't use it much anymore, but it's definitely effective. But that's basically it with Slaughterhouse, guys. Again, just like any other map, use your family vision, make sure none of your traps are broke. Remember that Cook and Hitch strat at the beginning. If he's communicating with you, let him know. That's a god spawn spot for the fuse box for Hitchhiker and Cook. And you basically do what you do. And Hitchhiker's really good on this map because it's a big map and he's really good at chasing. So he's definitely one of the best family members for this one. And with that said, guys, let's move on to the next map. All right, guys, here we go, man. We're on Gas Station, which is probably my favorite map in the game, and my favorite map to play as all characters, victim or family. You're going to spawn in here as Hitch on battery side, guys, and usually there's there's a few blood buckets in here that you can grab. One we just passed, one spawns right here. You can get one down here in the trailer. It also spawned for us, so I'll make my rounds, grab all this blood, and then I'll go ahead. We'll hop out here, out of the trailer. Come on outside here. Now, this map, guys, can be as versatile, if not even more versatile, than Slaughterhouse. So, Cook really doesn't matter here, guys, but you're really going to have to patrol with your family members on this map. You're going to have to pick a side for Hitch to stay on, whether it's this side or generator side, which is over here, and you're going to have another family member patrolling the other side. That's just how it has to be. But it works out really well. Again, this game's, you know, a game of goaltending. So let's say we're patrolling this side with Hitchhiker. Basically, guys, the number one thing you always want to trap with Hitchhiker on this map is simply the fuse box. Now, Gas Station has high traffic for fuse box exits. Okay, the fuse box is not in the house here, so we know where it's at. Two possible spots for the fuse box. Let me show you those guys real quick. Front bedroom of this house, you have a spawn right there on that piece of plywood, and in the back bedroom you have a spawn here as well. And for our third and final spawn, it's going to be all the way outside here. You're going to see a spawn right on this shed right here. So first things first is whenever I play with Hitchhiker, I'm looking for the fuse box right off the bat as soon as we spawn in. Find that fuse box, get it trapped. If you have a hands, make sure he traps the fuse box as well, because victims are going to try to escape that. Now, from here on out, guys, all your traps you can be crafty with. Now, say you don't have a hands without ripstall, but you have a Danny in the match. You're definitely going to want to take your traps and trap the pressure tank. Now, in this case, this is a bad RNG for us as family, with the pressure tank being up here at the top by the workshop. But anyway, we'll want to go ahead and put a trap on that if we don't have a hands. If we have a hands, you really don't have to worry about trapping the pressure tank at all. He can take care of it with his ripstall, so then you'll have two traps. Now, for our third trap, say, you know, we didn't need to trap the pressure tank, and we have two traps. What you can do is you can trap maybe both gates on one side of the gas station. Say I want to trap both of these generator gates, lock them down, nobody can get in. Or say I'm patrolling over there at Battery, I can trap both of those gates. You can do so many things with your traps on this map, guys, because people are running through this house constantly. You can trap this outside gap that's right here in front of me. As you guys can see here, you can trap this if you'd like. That way they get tied up in that. Another high traffic spot that I see where I'm trapping people, I can put a trap right here in the doorway into the kitchen of the house. A lot of people will be getting chased through the back, and they'll just simply just run around this corner and hit this trap. You can put one on this crack in the kitchen. I mean, there's just endless amounts, there's endless spots. I like to put one right here a lot if I have the family, you know, that has, you know, padlocks and hands and that kind of stuff. The more utility family you have, the more versatility you'll have with Hitchhiker in terms of setting his traps. So I'll set it here. You know, that's a good spot as well. Another good spot would be over here at tool storage, guys. We have a ladder with victims coming up this ladder. A lot of people like to set it right outside this door right here because a lot of victims like to come up this ladder. And as you can see, when you immediately come up this ladder, you can't see through that doorway. So they'll either come up and crouch, and before they notice, they step in that trap. Or, you know, maybe they're getting chased and they just, you know, they're just running and they just step right in that trap. I see a lot of people catching victims in this trap right here. That's another good spot. Also, if we come over here, and this is a prime example, if you have the fuse box here, maybe you feel like, you know, a victim's going to come up those stairs, come out this crack and go for the fuse box. Yeah, hell, you could set a trap here if you want. And if the victim's feeling really, really lucky, they can step in this trap. And after stepping in this trap, maybe they think, oh, I have time to go put the fuse in the fuse box real quick. So they'll step, and then they'll step in this trap. And then usually that's going to be a death sentence. So, I mean, you have so many spots, guys. You just kind of have to get an idea of where the victims are running and kind of the routes they're taking. You can put a trap here if you want as well. And I'll show you another trap that I like to do. I don't see a lot of people doing it, but what I like to do is a lot of times, you know, if a victim comes up and works on this gate, I'll take a trap and put it right in this grass right here. Because what happens is if a victim is working on this gate and then you have a family member coming and noticing them, it'll prompt them to get off the gate and sometimes run down this grass. And the reason why they run down this grass is because there's a well here at the bottom that they're most likely looking to jump into, and they're going to hit this trap in the grass. So, I mean, in a nutshell, guys, Gas Station is one of the best maps for Hitchhiker in terms of versatility and setting your traps. Considering that you have the family that's going to help you patrol, you could get some crazy traps on this map. Another good spot's right here. I don't know why, but a lot of victims like to hide right here, and I think a lot of it's because the pressure tank can spawn right in this spot too. But yes, so many traps, guys. You can even try new ones for yourself. And also let me know, too, in the comments if you guys have tried them in different spots on Gas Station. I'm always looking for new spots to put Hitchhiker's trap. But with that said, guys, I mean, that's pretty much the Gas Station in a nutshell. Again, you know, run the same, you know, kind of course that I told you guys about on Family House with checking your traps, with Family Vision, all that good stuff. They're going to give you all the information you need. And with that said, let's move on to the next map, guys. All right, guys, so we've made it, man. Unfortunately, the most dreaded map if you're a family man in the game, Nancy's house, guys. As much as I love this map, it's beautiful, a beautiful layout, most beautiful map in the game. It is unbelievably victim-sided. So we're going to spawn in here in Battery side, guys. We're going to make our way out of the Battery here. Now, a lot of things to take in note, too, guys, is, again, it's going to depend on the family that you have in terms of where you're going to set your traps. So, let's say I have a hands. First of all, guys, say there's a hands on the team. Typically, hands, they spawn out here too. They like to trap this gate. If I don't have that hands, I'll usually trap this gate with Hitchhiker. Now, also important that you're going to have to play on a side with Hitchhiker, guys. Whether it's watch Battery or house side, I usually like to watch the Battery side. Typically, I'm staying over here. We do also have the pressure tank on this side, so that's good RNG for us if I was to say on this Battery side. Again, if you have a Danny and you don't have hands, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go ahead and trap this pressure tank back here. However, we're saying that we do have a hand, so we're not going to trap that. We have the sliding door here. Also, a fuse box can spawn here. It has not. So, if I was to patrol this side, guys, right now, and if we had a hands, there would be nothing over here that I would really have to trap. Unless we had a Danny, I would trap that pressure tank. But one of the key spots where you want to place a hitchhiker trap, guys, is definitely on the generator. And again, we do have good RNG here. This is the best RNG for a generator in the game, which is right here on battery side. So I would go ahead and put a trap right here on the generator. Now, what I mean by RNG is because if I'm patrolling this battery with Hitchhiker, you know, I'm watching my gate, I'm watching my door, I can easily see the generator right in front of me, so this is definitely a family-sided RNG right here for now. But we've got our generator trapped. Now, where's the fuse box at? So, again, we talked about we have a spawn right here. And again, guys, Nancy's house, let me just say something about Nancy's house. It is the only map that has 4 fuse box spawn points. Every other map has 3. So it was not back there in the battery area. So now we want to come over here and check Johnny's shack. Let's see if it's in here. This is also a possibility. Take a look in here. It is not in here, but I just want to say, guys, if it was in here, say the fuse box is right here in Johnny's shack, what I would do, come over here, latch this door shut, and we would go ahead and place a trap right here in this crack. Now, this means that the only way the victims can get to this fuse box is either by barging through that door or hitting this crack where they're going to get trapped. So this would be one of the best spots for the fuse box on this map. Not the best, but one of the best. So that's where we would keep that trap. Now, I've got my rounds done. I still don't know where the fuse box is at, though, so we have 2 more possible spots. And it is up top, but I'll show you another possible spot of where it could be. It could also be right here in the garage. And the 4th and final spot for the fuse box would be right up here, up into Nancy's house, right outside on the porch. Now, if it is up here where we like to have it, this is the best spawn in the game for the fuse box. If you're family, you don't have to trap this, because for them to get up here to the fuse box, they have to unlock doors. They have to be able to unlock doors. Now, again, we were talking about hands, but again, I want to talk about Cook. And again, this is why I say Cook is S tier, because he is also very, very needed on this map too. I cannot wait to do Cook's tutorial, guys, which is going to be our next video, because there's so much need for him. Anyway, so there's a good chance that the Cook is going to have this outside gate padlocked. This is an exit gate. This is where they win. He's going to have that padlocked, and he'll probably have this door that I just came out of padlocked too. So he's really got the victims hardcore locked down from getting outside of this house. But say we don't have a Cook. You got someone with fast hands and Connie coming up here. They're going to get out this door easily. And once they get out this door, if you don't have a Cook, it is pretty much game over unless you got a family member on them, because Connie's going to come right up to this gate, insta-pop it, or even somebody with fast hands, and that's going to be game over. So, if we don't have a Cook and the victims are taking their time in the basement, I like to come up here and set a trap right outside of this door. Now, you can also set one on the inside of this door. That way they hit it or disable it before they have a chance to open this door, because you do not want them to get through this door. If they get through this door and you don't have a Cook, there's a good chance the game is over. And at the beginning of the match, guys, if the victims sense that you don't have a Cook, they're going to rush this house, especially if they have Connie. They're going to rush this. They're going to try to get up the road by all means. And let's run back to this generator spot real quick again. Yeah, so you definitely want to have a Cook on this map. If you don't have a Cook on this map, you should be patrolling this side with Hitchhiker. You should be over here. That way you can chase and hopefully get them before they get out. They have different there's different spots to get up into this house. We have a gate here. There's 3 different ways to get up into the house. That gate, which they'll go up this outside ladder. That door right there. And then we also have the door that we just came down. These are 3 possible spots of getting up into the house. Now, they can bypass all of that. They don't even have to go up into this house to escape. As you can see, we have the generator. This is where the generator leads to. The generator I just talked about trapping. This is where it leads to. It shuts this grid off, and they go right up the road. Right up the road, outside of the house we just came out of, straight to the gate. So, if you got somebody shutting that generator off, and you got a Connie, running up this road, boy, you better be quick. You better have a Leatherface or somebody that's going to get her, or she is easily getting out. And that's why I talk about trap placement is so crucial on this map, guys. Also having Cook, and it even helps to have hands. I mean, you got to kind of pull the ultimate meta on this map to stop victims from getting out, because that is so easy to be able to get out up top. So if they, you want to prevent them from shutting the gen off. So what I recommend is if you have a hands, you want to double trap this gen with hitch and hands. Make sure you have it locked down, and of course it gets shut off. If you have a hands, make sure he rip stalls it, because it's going to be game over. But again, you can get crafty with your traps, guys, depending on the family members you have. If you don't have a cook with you on this map, it gets a whole lot more difficult. You just want to make sure you're patrolling with someone fast in the garage, whether it's Hitchhiker or Leatherface, running around, making sure they're not getting into doors. And you also, I see a lot of people forgetting about this outside gate. And you can even, if you like, you could put a hitch trap on that gate as well. That way they can't get in this outside gate, because a lot of people will forget about it. You'll be watching the doors inside garage. I've already seen a lot of family members saying, yeah, the doors are good in here. They're not up in the house. But then you see somebody escape the front yard and you're like, how the hell did that happen? And then you come over here to the gate and find out it's unlocked and they went up through the ladder. So you want to make sure you're patrolling all of that, guys. Again, the fuse box is not a big deal. The only time you're going to have to worry about the fuse box is if you actually let them into this house. And if you do let them in the house, that's when you as Hitch can go up and you can go ahead and trap that fuse box. So with that said, guys, Nancy's house is going to be a little more complicated. You want to make sure you're definitely running a good team comp. If you're running against good victims, you got to make sure you're coordinating with your family members. Like I said, it's definitely good to have the cook, good to have a hands, Leatherface, any kind of combination. But honestly, as much as I hate to say it, again, I think cook is, again, the most needed, aside from probably hands, family member on this map. But Hitchhiker, he does a lot of good work as well. Another few spots of possibility for traps I'll put on the outside of this door sometimes, because we do have a ladder here that they come up out of, and then they'll be looking to come out this door to get to this door. I'll put a trap right here sometimes. Could be a good spot. A lot of times you can shut this door and put it out here, because when you're chasing victims through the garage, they'll like to come out this door and run for this well. So that wouldn't be a spot there. Again, we talked about the Johnny Shack crack trap if there is a fuse box in there. Another spot I've had with a lot of success too, guys, is over here at Garden Shed. This is like probably the most popular spot that victims come up whenever they get out of the basement. It's Garden Shed. So a lot of times what I like to do is keep this door closed, put a trap right here in front of the door. That way they open up the door, hoping to find the generator right here, because this is a spawn spot for the generator. They'll come out this door and hit this trap. So, I mean, a lot of versatility can be made on this map too, guys, depending on the family members. But if you don't have a cook or a hands on this map, you got to put your traps where they're needed. And like I said, make sure you have somebody on your team really watching this house and watching the generator, because victims will try to be explosive and get out as quickly as possible. But yeah, that's pretty much Nancy's house in a nutshell, guys, for Hitchhiker. Let's move on to the final map, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, we're on to the fifth and final map, man, the Abandoned Mill. Now, guys, I know I complain about this map a lot, but to be completely honest with you, this actually is probably one of the most balanced maps in the game. It is really big. It's a really big map, but this map plays a lot like Gas Station. So if you saw some of our trap placements on Gas Station and stuff like that, this actually will not differ too much. Again, with Hitchhiker, guys, because this is such a big map, you're going to want to patrol one side of the map while your family patrols the other side. Now, as you guys can see here, we just came out of Battery side. This is where we spawn with Hitchhiker again. Now, what I tend to like to do is I'll grab the blood that's outside here. We have some spots that we can get it. There's one there that's not there now, but what I like to do, depending on if we have a cook, every single one of these situations depend on a cook, guys. But if we have a cook, what they tend to do, and my good buddy, the Evil Dead guy, plays cook with me all the time, and he does the same thing every time. A lot of cooks will like to come, and they'll like to put both padlocks on each one of the battery gates. This is the silos. We have another spot where we just came out of over there. The cook will padlock that. If they do that, I don't worry about a trap on either of these gates. Now, if we don't have a cook, or if they're not padlocking these gates, I like to come over here in the silos, guys, because this is kind of like a real blind spot for family, and you have to, like, really kind of maneuver around here just to get back to this gate. So just for some assurance, I like to put a trap here on the silos gate. And again, guys, this is, of course, if we don't have a cook, because a lot of cooks, they like to not only padlock these gates, but they'll also patrol this side, too. So, considering we don't have a cook, that's one possible spot for a trap. I see a lot of players like to put a trap right here, guys, too, on these stairs. I don't do it too often, though, because it can be quite easy to see, but I have seen a lot of victims get caught there. That's another spot for you, too. But ultimately, as Hitchhiker, what we're trying to do, guys, is we're trying to make our way over to this side. Now, again, another really good spot, because we have Grandpa activity in these areas, guys. We have Grandpa there this time. He could spawn here. He could spawn up here at the top of the deck, and we'll talk about that spot in a second, too. But this could be another good spot right here in this grass. You know, they come up, they want to go stab Grandpa, and, you know, they might hide here and sit and wait for family to be gone, but guess what? We got a trap there, so they're going to step in that. So I like this spot as well. Now, back to the Grandpa spawn. There's a chance Grandpa might spawn right here. He might be sitting right here in this spot. Now, if you're running a family that's like a high blood, you know, blood farming family that wants to feed Grandpa really fast, you can go ahead and you can put a trap on Grandpa. You could probably get it about, I don't know, probably about this close right here. You can trap this, and what happens is, if you trap that, the victims can only stab Grandpa from this side, because you can see you can't get to the back of him, you can't get to the right side of him. They can only stab Grandpa from this side. So if you got a trap there, you can guarantee that you're going to be able, almost guarantee that you're going to be able to get Grandpa to high level pretty quick, because the victims can't do anything with them. And because I'm running Venom, it's really going to do some serious damage, and they're going to have to pay if they want to stab Grandpa. But again, guys, playing Hitchhiker, it's all in an effort to make it over to generator side, which we're at right now. So you want to spawn in, get whatever traps you need set, and move your way over to generator side, and we'll talk about that. So, fuse box spawn possible locations can be right here in machine storage, guys. It's not here this time. We can check in here. This is actually a new spot for the fuse box to spawn, and it actually is here. So, if you have a hands, typically, you won't have to worry about trapping this fuse box with Hitch. What I would recommend is latching this door, having one of your family members barge it from the outside, or you, if you have to, go to the outside and barge it. That way, if a victim tries to hit this fuse box, they can't door slam you and, you know, effectively stop you from reaching them. So get rid of this door. And if we don't have a hands, I would go ahead and put a trap on this fuse box. If you do have a hands, simply don't worry about it. Now, what you're going to be patrolling as Hitchhiker, what I like to patrol, why I think he's the best on this side of all family members, aside from Sissy, is because we have one generator here, and then with any other family member, for you to watch both sides, you would have to watch this gate, and then you would have to run all the way around, all the way over down here past the cotton, and then you would have to come down and watch this gate. And this is Hitchhiker. If I don't have any traps or locks on this gate, I usually like my cook to padlock this gate, because this is another blind spot, hard to get to. But if I don't have a trap on it, or a hand trap or cook padlock, I'll put a hitch trap on it. And now what happens is, because like I said, every other family member has to run all the way around. They have to check that gate, go all the way around. With Hitchhiker or Sissy, you don't have to do that. You can check this gate. You can head right in here into the workshop, hit this gap right here. That eliminates so much time of having to run all the way around. Hit this gap, check that gate. So basically, you just check that gate, hit the gap, run down to cotton, check that gate, looks good. And this is basically our maneuver right here. This is how we do it, back and forth. And we have the fuse box right there, which you can check as well. It looks good. And also, guys, the third and final spot for the fuse box would always be right here. And this is another reason why I like to stay on this side with Hitchhiker, is because if I have a trap on the fuse box, I can watch it at close proximity. So I would have this gate, I have the fuse box right there in front of me, I could check that trap if it's good, And then I can go out here and check this gate as well. And I think, honestly, you could also even just check that gate without even leaving this workshop. We can just kind of look through this crack, see if anybody's on it. Looks good. And look at that. Look at how easily you can watch both gates. So I think, honestly, guys, he's most effective on the mill playing this side. This is the side I always stay on him. Now, of course, if we have victims come over, we can go ahead and chase. Also, another good trap, guys, I want to talk about is a trap right here. This is a very high traffic location too here in the cotton warehouse. What I'll do is I'll take a trap and I kind of set it off to the side because they do kind of suck the victims in a little bit. I'll kind of set it off to the side a little bit, try to perfect it. Somewhere like right in here. Because if you have it dead on center with the gap, they can see that as they're coming through, right? So there's a good chance that if they're running through this, they might not see that trap, depending on the direction they're coming from. Say they're coming this way, they want to hit this gap. Look, it looks like there's no trap there. Literally looks like there's no trap there. And they're, let me hit this crack. And then most of the time, they're still going to get stuck in this trap right here. It's an excellent spot to put your trap a little bit off to the side. You can also put one right here in the warehouse because there's a lot of traffic in here as well. But yeah, I think if you stay on this side, guys, make sure Cook's got his padlocks locked down over on battery side. I think it's just the perfect spot. Again, Hitchhiker, again, is perfect for this map too. Lots of trap locations. Now, one tough spot about this map that I want to mention too, guys, that can make it victim-sided is if the pressure tank spawns all the way at the top of the mill. It did not this time, thank goodness, but if it does, that means you have to have a dedicated family member run all the way up here to shut that valve off. So that is literally a god spawn for victims. What I like to do, if I'm Hitch and the valve is up there, I'll put a trap right here at the bottom of this staircase. That way they have to either come disable it or step in it. It's the only way for them to get up to this pressure tank. That is the only spot they have to go up that staircase. So I'll put it here as opposed to putting it directly at the top on the pressure tank. That way it gives us a few seconds to catch up with them before they get up to the tank. Okay, so coming out here, we got some blood bags all around here as well. Spot there, spot there. There's a spot over here. But yeah, I mean, the mill is pretty basic, guys. Even though it's a big, giant map, it can be intimidating, especially if victims are getting out of exits. It can be tough, but it is very easy to patrol. I will say that. But yeah, with Hitchhiker on mill, guys, I think just, come onto the outside, have one of your family members watch battery. Battery is very easy to guard. And with Hitchhiker, you can cover all this ground easier than any other family member, including the fuse box. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to end, I think, our Hitchhiker tutorial video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask me down in the comments, guys. The basics of Hitchhiker is basically get your traps, in crafty spots where you think you can outplay a victim. Make sure you're trapping crucial spots like the fuse box, the pressure tank if needed. Make sure you're paying attention to who is on your team as family in terms of like cook and hands, whether you have them or you don't have them. You're going to have to change your approach accordingly. But once you get Hitchhiker down, guys, and start getting some kills with him and trap kills and stuff, he is one of the most fun family members in the game to play. So, again, guys, a little extensive video here, but you got to go through all the maps because they're all different. If you guys have any questions further about how to play Hitchhiker, or if I missed anything, please feel free to let me know in the comments. With that said, guys, my name's Sergeant Moose. We'll be back on the next beginner tutorial with the cook. Have a great day, guys. Take care.